Okay, so the topic of today's lesson is completing the square. And to start out, we're going to look at just when our a value is 1. And remember, our a comes from that standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. And our objectives for today's lesson: I can solve a quadratic equation by completing the square, and I can recognize the situations when to use completing the square. So, if we look at our ways to solve a quadratic equation, we can always use our graphing. We can always graph when we're in factored form, so that would be y equals x plus something, x minus something. Or if we're in standard form, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Square roots, where we have no middle terms, so we would just have a y equals ax squared minus c, or plus c, no middle x term. Factoring, if the equation is factorable, you can go ahead and do that to solve for it. And we can always use the quadratic formula, our negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, and make sure that is all over our 2a. And our newest way to solve a quadratic is completing the square. And we have a couple stipulations for this. A has to equal 1, and b has to be even in order for you to use completing the square. So if we go ahead and look at an example, we want to solve this equation by completing the square. So we have a few steps that you need to make sure you follow. You have a equal to 1, which we do, just an x squared, no number in front. And then your next step is to move c to the opposite side. So we have ax squared plus bx plus c. So if we're to do that, we have subtracting 24 here, so to move it to the other side we need to add. So we end up with x squared plus 10x equals 24. Okay, and then our next step, to complete the square, you add b divided by 2 squared to both sides. So if we were to do that, 10 divided by 2 squared equals 5 squared. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and that is 25. So we then add that to both sides, and we get x squared plus 10x plus 25 equals 25 plus 24. Okay, and then you want to factor the left side, the side with your x's, factor completely, and this would factor out to be x plus 5, x plus 5. We have our factors of 25 that add up to 10. 5 times 5 is 25. They add up to 10. And this is still all equal to 49. So since we have the same two factors here, we can rewrite this as x plus 5 squared equals 49. Now to solve for x, we then take our square root of both sides, because we have the square that we need to get rid of. So if we were to do that, take square root of both sides, we are left with x plus 5 equals plus or minus 7. We'd have both the positive or the negative 7 multiplied together to give us 49. So to solve for x, we get x equals negative 5 plus or minus 7. So if we have x equals negative 5 plus 7, negative 5 plus 7 gives us a positive 2, or negative 5 minus 7 gives us a negative 12. -12. So x equals -12 or 2. Okay, second example. X squared minus 8x plus 2, and we have our steps right over here on the left. So first we want to have a equal to 1. We have that. Now we need to move c to the opposite side. So we get x squared minus 8x. We have addition here. To move it over, we need to subtract 2 from both sides. So we get -2. Then to find our b over 2 squared, we have -8 over 2 squared. -8 divided by 2 is -4. Squared gives us +16. So we add that to both sides. We get x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals 16 plus a -2 gives us a +14. Alright, and we factor the left side. That gives us our 2 x's. Still set this equal to 14. Factors of 16 that add up to -8. You're going to be -4 and -4, so we can rewrite this. X minus 4 squared equals 14. So then to solve, take our square root of both sides, and we are left with x minus 4 equals, and then we can't take square root of 14, so we can just leave it under the radical for now. We need to add that positive or negative square root of 14. So again, we'll have two answers with that plus or minus. We get x equals 4, because we have -4 here, it would be +4, plus square root of 14, or x equals 4 minus the square root of 14. So if we take square root of 14 and add 4, you're going to get about 7.74 if we round it off to 2 decimal points. And if we take 4 minus the square root of 14, we're going to get approximately 0.26. So those are our two values of x. Okay, and one more example. Right here again, step 1, have a equal to 1, which we do. Move c to the other side. It already is over there, that 35. So we can go straight to adding b over 2 squared to both sides. 2 divided by 1 squared. Oh, whoops, excuse me. It is 2 divided by 2 squared. 2 divided by 2 is 1 squared equals 1. So we add 1 to both sides, gives us x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 35 plus 1 is 36. So again, factor this left side. Factors of 1, that add up to 2. We only have one factor 1, and that is 1. So we have x plus 1 equals 36. We have our same two factor groups. So it gives us x plus 1 squared equal to 36. Take square root of both sides. Gives us x plus 1 equal to plus or minus 6, square root of 36. So solve for x. X equals -1 plus 6, or x equals -1 minus 6. -1 plus 6 gives us a +5. -1 minus 6 gives us a -7. Okay, so to review, we can only use completing the square if b is an even number. So if our b is odd, we can't use completing the square. And then remember your steps. A needs to equal 1. Move c to the other side, so we have ax squared plus bx equals c. Complete the square by adding b divided by 2 squared to both sides. Make sure you divide b by 2 before you square it. Then factor that left side completely. Solve for x and you should get 2 answers. Make sure you go online, do your reflection, get that bonus point. Ask any questions you might have, and I will see you tomorrow.